Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
The Elder Scrolls Skyrim is 10 years old, which means that if you were alive when it came out, you're 10 years older as well. I still remember the announcement of Skyrim like it was yesterday, showing us nothing more than the main storyline through some carvings. It was enough to make people go crazy. Though it wasn't the first game in this genre, it must have been one of the most influential at the time. Back when Skyrim was announced, Oblivion and Fallout 3 were my most favorite and most played games. So, coming after the success of Bethesda's previous titles and knowing how much fun those games turned out to be, the hype was at an all-time high. So much in fact that even though we knew it was going to release as a buggy mess, just like previous Bethesda games, Skyrim still released to critical acclaim and shipped more than 7 million copies in its launch week alone. Bethesda knew how to create the perfect addicting gameplay loop that sticks, and fans were craving it so much that they would deal with a mess of a game just to experience it. The game has gone on to become one of the most sold games ever, and by 2016 sold more than 30 million copies worldwide, releasing multiple versions over so many platforms that it has become a meme.
Alexa, play Skyrim.
You're level 57 and see a tall snowy mountain.
Climb it.
But what is the reason that the game has managed to make it to the top of the most sold games?
I've purchased it 6 times.
And even 10 years after launch, people are still playing and adoring Skyrim. The game's world is set on the continent of Tamriel, in the Nordic province of Skyrim, located north of the province of Cyrodiil, where the Gates of Oblivion were opened about 200 years prior to this game. The world is filled with monsters, magic and goats, and once again needs to be saved from destruction. The main story revolves around a wondrous adventurer who has gone on many quests and slayed many beasts. One day on one of his many adventures, he gets careless and gets shot in the knee with an arrow. He is then forced to retire from his adventurous ways and decides to become a god, trying to survive day by day in a world where an illegal immigrant named Dovahkiin goes around screaming at people.
I used to be an adventurer like you, and I took an arrow in the knee.
This is where you come in.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
You start off as a prisoner caught illegally crossing the border, a crime punishable by execution. Your first interaction with the game is creating your character. You can choose from 10 different races, ranging from humans, elves, orcs, cats, and politicians. You can then fine-tune features of your character, such as your weight, eyes, cheekbones, lips, hair, scars, and so on, in order to create the likeness you want. So, back to the story. You get saved just before getting executed, and then proceed to climb stairs, jump, run, fight some people, fight some spiders, and make enemies with Peter, all in order to escape from Helgen. You then head to the nearby village of Riverwood, get sent to the Jarl of Whiterun, get sent to fetch a tablet.
Go to Bleak Falls Barrow. Find this tab. Ah, the Dragon Stone of Bleak Falls Barrow.
Get sent to fight a dragon, learn how to shout at people, get shouted back at by some old people, learn how to shout faster at people, fight some more dragons, learn how to shout at a dragon, and then kill Alden, the World Eater. But wait, it's not that simple. This is where the game gets its charm. As soon as you leave Helgen, you can choose to completely ignore your destiny and run in the opposite direction. You don't have to play a single main story quest, fight a single dragon, or even learn to shout at people, and can still have an amazing experience in this world. This game has so many different stories and so many paths that after adventuring for about 100 hours, I still haven't even spoken to the Jarl of Whiterun, even though I lived there. I've mastered the use of a bow, learned to conjure multiple Daedras, I've infiltrated the Thalmor, explored the ancient ruins of the lost Dwemer race, starred in The Hangover.
Wake up. That's right. It's time to wake up, you drunken blasphemer. Of course. You don't remember getting here. I'm guessing you also don't remember coming in here and blathering incoherently about marriage or a goat.
Became the Archmage of the Winterhold College, fought in a civil war, killed the Forsworn, punched a mudcrab, killed some giants, brewed some potions, became a blacksmith, mastered the arts of sneaking multiple times, become a vampire, healed my vampirism, became a vampire again, killed a vampire lord, read some Elder Scrolls, and started a book collection, just to name a few things on the long list of completed quests. The beauty of this game is how easily you can get sidetracked from your goal and go on a completely different adventure. You'll be busy heading to Whiterun in the main storyline, and just before you reach the town, you'll stumble across some people fighting a giant on a farm. They defeat the giant and tell you about the companions located in Whiterun, and before you know it, you'll be heading out on some epic quests with your newly acquainted shield brothers and sisters. Or, you're on your way to join the Stormcloaks and become a soldier defending Skyrim from the Imperials. You hear a rumor about strange noises coming from a house in Windhelm and end up having to liberate an orphanage, get kidnapped, and then have to decide if you want to join a group of assassins known as the Dark Brotherhood, where you get sent on various assassination quests around Skyrim. Or, you can simply destroy the Dark Brotherhood. You'll simply go looking for some ingredients to train your alchemy and end up infiltrating a fort filled with necromancers. There are so many little hidden stories throughout the world of Skyrim, some you don't even know about unless you find the right book or journal to tell you the full story behind a cave full of bandits. The lore of the Elder Scrolls is so vast that if you want to dive deep into it and experience it all, you would have to play multiple games, as well as read the printed media such as the novels and pocket guides written about it in order to understand the full context as to why certain things are the way they are in the game. Even without all the extra media, the world of Skyrim is so huge and filled with stories and adventures that you won't find a lack of content in this game. The game uses a simplified RPG system in terms of leveling up your character, which is easy enough to pick up as a beginner, but still offers enough to satisfy more experienced players. Every action you take in this game has a reaction towards your skill tree. Sneak a lot and your sneak skill will increase. Use your sword a lot and your one-handed will go up. Cast a lot of fire, electric or ice spells and your destruction will go up. Level up enough skills and you can increase the points of the red, blue or green team and get to spend a point towards your perk tree in categories you've trained in enough. The perks range all the way from simple stat increases to walking more silently or even being able to dual cast magic or even gaining the ability to craft dragon armor. You can further increase your stats and abilities by wearing or using enchanted armor and weapons, reading skill books or brewing up the right potion if you've got the ingredients for it. The blood and bone of Skyrim has to be the looting. There are items ranging from junk to legendary weapons hidden all over the world in so many different places. Loot can be found in chests, barrels, nature, farms, bags, monsters, bodies, or be acquired by completing quests or just laying around. Looking for ingredients is one of my favorite things to do. There are loads of ingredients and items to acquire all over Skyrim that can be used to brew into potions or poisons, or even smith into weapons and armor. An amazing game like this doesn't come without its negatives. For such an amazing game, with so many different features, Skyrim is ultimately still a broken game. Don't get me wrong, it's not a cyberpunk situation, and the game can be played without a hitch. A lot of the bugs in the game has been fixed, but there are still loads of bugs that remain in the game even after all the official patches have been applied. The bugs that plague Skyrim range from minor inconveniences to game-breaking bugs which can corrupt your save files or cause you to not be able to start or complete a certain quest. The alchemy and enchantment system is very broken. It's a known bug that never got fixed, essentially turning it into a
feature.
Through following a certain loop, you can create items so powerful that you can walk through fire unscathed, or create weapons strong enough to kill in one strike. Exploiting this feature can take a lot away from the overall experience, but it does allow you to create a one-punch man that can run around Skyrim punching dragons into oblivion. The combat system in Skyrim leaves a lot to be desired, but offers just enough to get the job done. You can wield a combat item in each hand, allowing you to choose a combination of weapons, shields, and magic to use together in battle. Some weapons like bows can be overpowered at times, especially when combined with sneak skills. Dual-wielding axes and swords look cool, while other methods of combat like destruction magic feels like it doesn't live up to the task. It never feels like you have enough magicka to handle yourself in tough situations, and forces you to group your magic use with a weapon in order to defend yourself while regaining magicka points. After all these years, the main thing I feel is keeping Skyrim alive is the modding community. Mods have been available on PC for years and was included on certain console versions of the game.
Not on the Switch.
and gives those versions of a game the much needed upgrade they need. After all, it's not Bethesda who is going to fix their game. Modding allows you to fix more bugs, gain more quests, areas, items, weapons, monsters, stories, and even turn all the dragons into Thomas the Tank Engine. The list of how Skyrim can be tweaked through mods is vast and opens up the possibility for you to get lost in Skyrim all over again, even after all these years. Skyrim was groundbreaking for its time, and though it might feel a bit dated by today's standards, its influence can still be seen in many games released today, and it is still one of my favorite games to play to date. With all its flaws, it might not have been the best game ever created, but it was the first game that made me think.
I want to buy this again.